In the following video, I share about 5 reasons why pornography is dangerous. I'm especially focusing on adolescents as this is a time when porn use is common. In fact, the research is super clear. By late adolescence, most young people have viewed pornography. So, this is definitely a topic that all parents and all young people need to hear about. Pornography can be an uncomfortable topic to talk about, but there are some important things you need to know. Here are 5 reasons why pornography can be dangerous. It creates a false reality of sex and unrealistic expectations. People watching pornography can think that what they're watching is how sex is meant to be. In reality, the sex in porn is fake, unrealistic, and often what is portrayed as enjoyable is not enjoyable in real sexual relationships. As a result of watching porn, many young people, when they come to actually having sex, report feeling dissatisfied with real sex. Real lovemaking is just not like how sex is portrayed in porn. And let's face it, nobody should feel the pressure to live up to the fake bodies and the unrealistic portrayal of sex that is seen in pornography. No wonder so many people feel insecure when it comes to their bodies and their sexuality. Number 2, it changes our brain. When it comes to our brains, you might have heard of the term neuroplasticity. What this means is that our brain is not a fixed organ. It is malleable, it can be trained, and it can be rewired to think and function differently. Research has shown that porn does this. It changes the makeup of our brain and how our brain responds sexually. In particular, it's easy for our brains to be trained by things that makes us feel good. When we eat something that tastes really good, like French fries, our brain releases endorphins. These are feel-good chemicals, and as a result, we're trained to crave French fries again. When we do something exciting or pleasurable, we get a release of dopamine. This dopamine is a powerful neurochemical that is released in the anticipation of pleasure. It is a powerful driver that makes us desire doing certain activities again. An example might be going on a thrill ride at an amusement park. The chemicals in your brain might say, hey, I want to do that again. When someone watches porn, they get a release of these feel-good chemicals in their brains, and that trains their brain to want to go back to that source of feeling good over and over again. The way our brain is wired with regards to sexual stimuli is good. It is designed to make two people who love each other, such as in marriage, fall more and more in love and to desire intimacy. One of the big issues with porn is that it is ultimately a fake and unfulfilling stimuli. In other words, our brain gets tricked into loving the counterfeit, the fake sex, rather than the real thing. Another important part of how our brain works is that we can teach our brain to be aroused by certain things. Neurologists use the phrase, the neurons that fire together wire together. Pornography contains many things that are not healthy. Violence, hurtful speech, lack of consent, for example. When people become aroused during porn, sadly, they are also teaching themselves to find these other disrespectful and sometimes illegal things arousing. The neurons that fire together wire together. As you can imagine, this is leading many young people into deeply unsatisfying habits and problematic sexual behaviours. In particular, it is leading to a lack of sexual satisfaction in real relationships because people are becoming conditioned to sexual things that just can't be experienced in real relationships. Porn-induced erectile dysfunction, for instance, is now a real thing, affecting millions of young men. What many people thought would teach them about sex, porn, has become the very thing that is ruining sex the world over. So, a very important question to be asking yourself is, how am I training my brain to be sexually aroused? If I'm someone who might one day hope to experience a healthy sexual relationship, then should I be consuming something now that may ruin those plans? As one clinical psychologist said to me, "Paul, when you speak to young people, tell them this: don't put on the credit card now what you can't pay for later." Number 3, it reduces people to being a collection of body parts. When someone is watching pornography, it is easy for them to objectify the people on the screen, instead of seeing these people as human beings with feelings, thoughts and emotions. All they see are their sexual body parts. Porn users can start to look at other people and think, there is something for my sexual pleasure, as opposed to there is someone who I'm called to love and respect. I know that when I was using porn as a teenager, I found it really hard not to see people, especially young women, as sex objects. I, for one, don't want to be someone who objectifies people. People are there to be loved, not used. Point 4, it damages future relationships. One study found that any male that regularly uses porn is significantly more likely to be unfaithful in a relationship. Pornography use can lead a person to feel unsatisfied in a relationship, and at a deeper level, it can be a source of a lot of emotional pain. When someone knows that their partner is looking at porn, it can lead to low self-esteem, a lack of trust, and even relationship breakdown. Another study found that people who regularly watch porn find their real-life partner less attractive. The good news, however, is that research has also found that within weeks of quitting porn, ex-porn users experience an increase in relationship satisfaction. Number 5, it can be addictive. As discussed earlier, the brain is wired to enjoy sexual arousal, but the feel-good chemicals released can't tell the difference between something that is healthy for us and something that is unhealthy. The release of these feel-good chemicals train our brain to want to return to pornography, and this desire, if not resisted, can develop into an addiction. There are a couple of signs that something is becoming a problematic or compulsive behaviour. The first is that you are no longer fully in control of the behaviour. If you want to stop, it feels like you can't. The other sign that porn use is having a negative, lasting effect is desensitization. If we repeatedly do something stimulating, like looking at porn, over time it can lead to a decrease in the way the feel-good chemicals work. You start to need more and more of the same stimulus to get that same release of chemicals. For a drug addict, desensitization leads them to taking larger quantities of the drug or moving on to harder drugs. For someone looking at porn, this often means that over time they look at harder, more graphic pornography. It can even lead to a desire to act out physically what they have been watching. When we share this information with young people, we often notice that they react because they can recognise that they may be becoming desensitized. If you're a porn user and you find yourself gravitating to more full-on content, it may be because your habit is escalating as a result of neurological changes in your brain. Many of you watching this will already be experiencing this. Please, can I encourage you, don't take this topic lightly. This topic can be hard to talk about, but it's important to be informed about pornography and the impact it can have on people. It is definitely something we would encourage you to think deeply about. As a guy who's spoken to tens of thousands of people about this topic and journeyed with hundreds of others as they've broken free of their porn habits, I can definitely tell you it is worth fighting for. G'day. If you're new to this channel, can I please ask you to like, share, subscribe, and don't forget to click that little bell button. God bless.